happened. It's got to this point, I don't know whether I'm perimenopausal or something, but I can't actually read the newspaper anymore or like listen to the news without crying. It's really ridiculous. Everything makes me really upset. I never used to be so sensitive. It's like I was a much harder person. I was impervious to it, but now everything's so awful and I just get really upset by it. The cover story, is the one about, the Australian cricket captain sort of going on and batting, and that was really, upsetting because it was such a sad thing after his, the other cricketer died with a terrible ball to the head, and that was just awful. And Ellie's cricketing buddies sort of came in there and just did their best, and are clearly really emotional, like having, a bit of a cry themselves, and like holding the little bat and the cap up in the air. And like I don't even like cricket. And I had a cry when I read that. I went, oh, that's just really moving. That's just really upsetting. Can't watch cricket now because it's too upsetting. And then I was watching something else. So then the next story I came across is the story of a little boy who's like 2 or something, and this tradesman left the door open and he wandered out into a lake and drowned. Somewhere like in Perth, and like the mum has gone down and, she's found the child. Well, she didn't find him, but eventually they found that he was gone. That's horrific. Like, what a terrible story. And then there's another story, sort of set, somewhere in America about, I don't know, about some woman who's like part of a pedophile ring and actually had, got her niece in it as well, and she was being charged. And I was just going, this is just too much, because, I know it's upsetting reading it. I think, how do you not get upset? Like, within a really short period of time. I've come across stories as I flick through, about, the sort of inquest or something that had happened into the refugee who died from, sepsis. And he died because in the inquiry that they couldn't get the visa to actually fly him back somewhere where he could get proper treatment. So the poor man just died from lack of treatment because they couldn't get the paperwork in order to get him somewhere. And to think that you could actually travel from, like a war-torn country in the most dangerous circumstance in a boat like that and make it to Australia and become a refugee here and taken to Manus Island and then die from a cut. It just seems just ludicrous. I mean, that was upsetting. And then there's another story, about some other sort of child that drank raw milk that was bath milk and died, and 4 others that end up in hospital. And like by the end, I can't even read it. Like, and then you put the radio on and it's just too much. I have to sometimes think it has to come with kind of a warning, because sometimes the stories will come on, they're so horrific. I actually, particularly for children, I have to turn them off. Because I'm like, I once had to pull over sobbing because it was so upsetting. And I wonder, like, as you get older, I feel like I finally understand that Wim Wenders film, Wings of Desire. The whole story of desolation and this idea of middle-aged men, sort of angels, standing behind people in their moment of sadness and desperation to provide some sort of sad comfort in the horror and the fragility of life. And as I'm getting older, it seems like you see more of the horror and the fragility. And I don't think I used to really see it, or it didn't mean anything when I was younger. But now it's actually quite painful. And my tendency is to not read the newspaper or to not listen to the news. And that just seems wrong. It seems worse to say, all right, I can't handle it, so I'm not going to listen. Like, that actually seems like a completely unethical and immoral response to the pain of the universe. So I guess you just have to turn it on and find a way to deal with this constant daily stream of horror. And like just the other day, interestingly, I mean, newspapers just focus on negativity. There was a paper in Russia, it was an online paper, and they actually decided to run good news for a day, and they lost 2/3 of their readership because people just feed on this negative shit. They love it, because apparently we respond to it better. I don't know. I just find it really awful. Anyway, read more about terrible things happening to people and dying and starvation and, you know, just one old lady that goes to her door somewhere in Sydney and she got gunned down and some random weird execution. I mean, Jesus Christ. Anyway, happy Christmas. I'm sure there's some more horrible things that happen. Why are people so awful? Oh, it just gives me a headache. I just want to fun. Oh, thank God there's something on shopping.